Alright, this video is specifically targeted for the business owners, for the CEOs, for senior management, HR. This is basically for you guys and not so much for the employees, and I'll explain why. So the first two videos is for senior management owners and not so much the employees. The last two videos, the episode 1 and episode 2, is targeted for your team, and you'll see that those recordings were done live at an actual event. Now, when doing live events, what I normally do is I insist on having a compulsory meeting with senior management and the business owners beforehand so we can prime. Now, with this being an online course, that unfortunately isn't really possible, so we're going to be doing it here in this very video, and I'll cover the items that need attention. Right, the strategies here and principles are critical. Just as a government has to take responsibility for the circumstances within its country, so does the business owners, the CEOs, the senior management have to take responsibility for the circumstances within a company, whether it's a great company culture or whether it's an unhealthy company culture. It is up to the senior management. There's two ways that company culture can evolve, and the one is if it's just left to by default, which then it can evolve whichever way, maybe not always the most favorable way, or the other one is to actually cultivate it on purpose, purposeful influence. Either way you slice it, it all comes down to that the responsibility for the influence of a company culture comes from the top and it flows down. It is not the responsibility of your team, not the responsibility of your employees or your workforce. Right, having said that, let's dive in a little deeper. Now, company culture is not bred out of salaries alone. Money is actually the worst motivator. And let's look at the difference between motivation and inspiration. Motivation is extrinsic, it's something outside of ourselves, and it's normally to either avoid an unpleasant situation or to try and attract a desired situation. But either way, it's something that happens outside of ourselves, and basically it's salaries, money is a motivator, and it's common knowledge that it's not always the best. So that is not the basic ingredient for a healthy and primed and positive company culture. We need to look at an intrinsic form, which is your inspiration, and let's look where that can come from. So what is common to companies that have a positive, healthy corporate culture? They have a vision, mission, and intention that isn't just about providing a quality product or good after-sales service or providing great value for money. That is the criteria for every business that ever has existed and will exist. It is not the vision, mission, and intention statements. Those need to be much bigger, and they need to be more value biased, they need to be more contribution based, and they need to be about what kind of legacy is being left behind. When I did this seminar for a bunch of pharmaceutical companies, what we reinforced then is they're not just creating a bunch of medical goods or services. Basically what they were doing is that they were easing suffering. They were able to take away and remove pain from people. They were providing healthcare benefits. They were prolonging life. They were contributing to a better standard of living. They were providing health. So that is something that who wouldn't want to subscribe to say, hell, this is what do I do for a living? I'm creating and selling drugs and services related there. No, I'm upgrading and uplifting and inspiring, providing health, providing longer living, taking away suffering, easing symptoms, providing cures, and raising the standard of living. Do you see the difference of the one being so much more fulfilling than the other? Company culture is like exercise, it is like eating, and it is like bathing. You cannot just do it once and expect it to miraculously last and last and last and last. You can't go to the gym once and exercise and expect to be fit for the rest of the month. You cannot brush your teeth once and expect to have oral hygiene for the rest of the month. You cannot bath once and expect to be clean and smell fresh for the rest of the month. It needs to be reinforced and anchored. And it's not about just dishing out a sermon. It's not preaching, it is teaching, and gradually needs to become the company's religion. Almost gets a life of its own. Okay, so we've looked at now as the owners and senior management taking responsibility for it. We looked at them for setting an example, for them also acknowledging the team. If you want to bring up a healthy child, the child needs to be felt like it is acknowledged, felt like it is needed, and felt that it is wanted. Same things with your team, with your employees. If they're acknowledged, feel like they're needed, and feel like they're wanted, feel like they're understood, you're well on your way to creating a positive company culture. Now let's look at ways of how we can impact that positively. There's various ways that employees and team members like to be acknowledged, and these can be determined. So I would recommend each of your employees to take the Tony Robbins has a DISC quiz which tells them more about themselves. Dr. John DeMartini has a values determinator quiz. There are Enneagram tests. I'll post a few links below so that you guys can check them out. But it's about finding out kind of what the individual's love language is regarding his employment. And there's normally 4 types. The first type obviously is money. It's the basic reward. Some people just want more money. The other is status. Just give them a big desk, their own office, nice big door with a big plaque on it with their name and their position, and they'll be tickled pink. The other 2 are more freedom and flexibility values. Some people are going to want to have more time freedom, that they can perhaps spend more time with their family or their friends. And others will want more freedom and flexibility for the creative juices to flow, to be given the freedom thereof, that they can bring more creativity to the workplace. So it's important to investigate these values, these archetypes, these tendencies, so that they can be given what they truly desire. So a basic summary is, it's up to the owners, the senior management, to discover a vision, mission, and intention that is legacy-based, that is contribution-based, that is value-based, that can set a fire underneath the team members, that'll make them say, I'm in this for something that's larger than myself, that makes me feel good and fulfilled. And the other one is checking out the individual needs. What is their highest values? Where do they resonate? And giving them what they need so that they can perform at optimum. And lastly, you've just got to be persistent in reinforcing and anchoring this on a permanent basis, that it's not a preached sermon, but that it actually becomes a lifestyle, a theme, the religion of the company itself. And in this way, you cannot help but scale your business and grow. All right, hopefully that's given you a bit of food for thought. That's just outside the regular manufacturing, producing realm. The next 2 clips are specifically targeted for the team, for the workforce, and it's presented in a way that's brand new and optimized for neuro-linguistic programming. So let's turn the page and let's start the training. Let's build up the team. Let's strengthen the company culture.
The Big Cigar.